It's very frustrating for everyone, the mothers, the fathers, and grandparents and grandmothers, everybody who got involved.
Classes in 7 towns in and around Machias are canceled as police deal with an ongoing threat, but parents and kids were totally in the dark.
Instability in the marketplace or in any sort of insurance environment creates significant challenges.
Some Mainers will need to make some tough decisions about their health care now that Anthem Insurance is pulling out of the ACA marketplace. Hello everybody, I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Katie Ortiz in for Amanda Hill. We'll talk about health insurance later today, but we'll start with down east where parents, teachers, and students are wondering what the heck is going on.
Yeah, schools in the Machias Bay Area school system were closed down today. A Facebook post last night on the school's page warned parents and teachers about the closing, but did not provide a lot of details. So we sent Tennyson Coleman to Machias to try to get us some answers. Tennyson, all right, what's going on?
Good evening, guys. It's pretty quiet here outside of Machias Memorial High School as well as Rose M. Gaffney Elementary School. There is a school department truck parked at the entryway for both parking lots, and there are no cars in the parking lot, as well as no practices going on right now for sports. That's because, again, school was closed today. School was closed because of a general threat. And today, I talked to Machias Bay Area School Superintendent Scott Porter, and he confirmed that the threats were shooting related. According to Porter, the threats were made via email and sent to one school, but there was language in the threats which made school officials believe other schools in the area may be at risk. Porter did not specify which schools were targeted, nor did he say who may have been behind all of this. School officials believe the threats originated locally. Obviously, in the wake of the mass shooting in Las Vegas over the weekend, Porter and his staff did not want to take any chances. He says the school system's mission is to educate students, but it has a higher duty to keep them safe. I talked to some families nearby, and they are understandably concerned. One man came here from out of town to be with his grandchildren who were out of school for the day.
It's very frustrating for everyone, the mothers, the fathers, and grandparents and grandmothers, everybody who got involved with the school. It's just heartbreaking to see something like this going on.
And you never think it happened here?
No, you never do. Everybody says that. When it happens in your hometown, then they're all, wow, can't believe it's happening in Machias, Maine.
And Porter says he's been working closely with the Machias Police Department, the Washington County Sheriff's Department, as well as state police to find out who sent the threats. He's hoping to have the investigation wrapped up tonight, but is not sure if school will be reopened tomorrow. He did mention that he does not believe the general public is at risk tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, Tennyson Coleman live in Machias tonight. Thank you very much.
Our souls are stricken with grief for every American who lost a husband or a wife, a mother or a father, a son or a daughter. We know that your sorrow feels endless. We stand together to help you carry your pain.
President Trump made a solemn trip to Las Vegas today to offer his condolences and support to a city ravaged by Sunday night's mass shooting. Almost 60 people were killed at a country music festival when a gunman hiding in a Mandalay Bay hotel room opened fire.
Now, pictures of the hotel room show multiple weapons, 23 in all, according to police. Some of those guns were modified to fire faster, turning a semi-automatic weapon into a firearm that shoots as many rounds per second as fully automatic in some cases. Investigators are still looking into how he acquired the weapons and what could have motivated such a brutal attack. Those modified weapons may have been outfitted with a bump stock, according to officials that are close to the investigation.
Now, as we discovered yesterday on Now, a bump stock uses the recoil of a shot to speed up the next shot and the next, like dribbling a basketball. Today, Portland Mayor Ethan Strimling says this attachment shouldn't be legal.
More of us need to speak out more often to say we won't tolerate it any longer. And so I hope the Maine legislature will look at this and say, you know what? If he didn't have this bump stock, this device that was able to turn his semi-automatic into an automatic, which meant that he was able to shoot hundreds of rounds a minute, if he hadn't had that, there would be people alive today. That's what we know. So we need to take a stand and say we're not going to allow those to be sold in this state. I think it will make our state safer, and I think it will make our city safer.
A former chief at the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives said that they reviewed bump stocks for weeks before declaring it legal. It did not meet the definition of a machine gun. They said it is an accessory, not a conversion.
Federal lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are taking a look at bump stocks as well.
So we asked you guys to weigh in on social media today. Should there be stricter gun laws in America? Jeffrey says no. We need society changes, not law changes. We glorify disrespect and violence in video games. Bruce says there are so many laws on the books now that aren't enforced, but he also says he's owned bump stocks in the past and he wouldn't miss them if they were banned. Linda says we should be talking about mental health. Doesn't matter how strict the gun laws are. She says people just need to pay closer attention.
And as always, thanks for sharing your opinion. And remember, you can be a part of this conversation right now on our Facebook live stream. Still to come on now.
It's crazy, it's ridiculous, and it's frustrating, and it hurts.
She won't be the only one looking for new insurance. Mainers who get support through the Affordable Care Act can't rely on Anthem come 2018.
And the top Republican in Maine State Senate is here to talk about his run for governor. Post your questions right now on our Facebook live stream. We'll get some answers after the break. Welcome back to Now, everybody. We're still a year out from choosing Maine's next governor, and there are a lot of politicians who want to win your vote. Today we have Maine Senator Garrett Mason joining us. He's going to answer your questions. So just log on to our Facebook live stream right now and you can post them there. All right, so you've got obviously a lot of experience in Maine politics. Yeah. So what is it that you're going to do that's going to make you different, that's going to make people want to vote for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Lee. But I'm not sure that we need to do something different as much as we need to just stay the course and maybe just a little bit of a change in the way that we do things in Augusta. I'm very much looking forward to getting on the campaign trail and talking to people about my plans for lower income taxes, better schools, and to make sure that the Citizens Initiative process is kept where it belongs, right in the hands of the Maine people.
This might seem like an obvious question, but what could you do in the Blaine House that you can't do in the legislature?
Well, you know, being a senator, you're not the executive. And anybody who's ever been involved in a company knows that that is very different. Being a stockholder and being the CEO is very different. So as governor, I can set an agenda. I can focus on the priorities that mean a lot to me and that I think that the Maine people need and the Maine people want. So it's the difference between being a shareholder and really a CEO.
We were chatting a little bit before we went on here about our history, knowing each other from sports. And I asked you, what are you doing? Are you crazy? So I ask you now, what are you doing? Like, I mean, who wants to run for office in this climate? It's not right now. It's a pretty, you know, turbulent topic, politics, and why would you want to stay involved and get involved in this?
You know, Augusta and politics in general isn't the same thing that it was 7 years ago when I first got into politics. But the reason that I'm in this is because I'm a 7th generation Mainer. My family's been here since the 1700s. I know what it means to live in Maine, to work in Maine, to be part of a family in Maine that has many family businesses, and I know what the struggle is to work here and to live here. And I care about this place. I care about our state. And that's why, even though it might be a little crazy to run for office nowadays, I'm willing to do it.
You mentioned about your family and the businesses that they've had here. Small businesses, it's a constant conversation. It seems like every time there's an election. How do you get them, to come to Maine, and then how do you get them to stay in Maine?
Yeah, I think part of that lies in the income tax. We have done a really great job in the legislature over the past few years to do income tax cuts, not only for the rich, not for the poor, but for all Maine people. And that's really important because when you get to have more money in your pocket, you get to spend more, which grows the economy, which grows people's businesses. So for me, that is something that I will be continuing to focus on, as I have for the past 7 years in the legislature, is to make sure that Maine people have more money in their pockets.
I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the events that happened in Las Vegas. It's certainly been in the news, and people want to know what's going to happen locally to, as best as possible, safeguard against that ever happening in our state.
Yeah, there's a myriad of problems with what you have seen in Las Vegas. That man was obviously mentally deranged. And I think that one of the things that we have pursued in Maine is common sense gun laws, not banning the law-abiding citizen from owning a weapon, but making sure that people who are mentally incapacitated aren't able to access a weapon as easily. The only thing that stricter gun laws do is they prohibit law-abiding citizens from owning a weapon.
And what about those bump stocks that we were just talking about?
Yeah.
And what's your feeling on those?
Well, I disagree with Mayor Strimling. that does not turn it into an automatic weapon. It doesn't meet the definition of that. There are a lot of accessories that come on a gun that aren't necessarily made for danger. They're made for military grade things. They're made for safety sometimes too, especially on the barrel to keep people from burning their hands, things like that. So I think we need to look into that a little bit more, but I just think that because it's an accessory, you don't need to ban it.
All right, Garrett Mason, thank you very much for this time. We're going to keep you with us during the break, and we'll talk to you on our Facebook pages, so make sure you guys log on there for your questions and comments, which we have now. All right, Katie, back to you.
All right, thanks, Lee. There's been so much bad news lately, so we wanted to present a challenge to Mainers. Asking people what their one reason to smile is on this Wednesday. We want some happy news in the newscast. Talk to Mainers about the good things happening in their lives, and you may have smiled today when you stepped outside, because it was a gorgeous day. It may even be one for the record books.
And I think that it's October and we still have some great weather right now.
Welcome back. People in Maine who get health insurance through the Affordable Care Act will have one fewer option when open enrollment begins on November 1st.
Yeah, Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield announced last week that it will no longer offer coverage in Maine through the ACA marketplace starting in 2018 due to market volatility and uncertainty. Chris Costa's hanging out. There are thousands of people in Maine who will now need to look for another option.
Yeah, Lee and Katie, according to the Maine Bureau of Insurance, there are 23,000 people in Maine who have insurance through Anthem's ACA options. Now they have to decide whether to pay possibly a more expensive premium or risk going without coverage.
Ronnie Jerdak usually knows what's coming. Appointments each day with the occasional walk-in. A disruption in healthcare, though, she didn't predict.
There's a lot of people that are in the same boat than I am, or worse.
She did not have health insurance for many years.
I was finally able to get it through the Affordable Care Act. Just got to touch it with a curling iron and we're good to go.
Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield covers her frequent, costly health screenings.
When I had my first colonoscopy, they found the polyps. I'm at high risk for colon cancer.
Anthem will no longer offer plans on the ACA marketplace, and Ronnie worries if other companies will cover her.
I want to have preventative care. I want to keep on top of things so they don't turn to cancer.
What was your reaction when you heard that Anthem was pulling out?
Disappointed and not surprised.
Katie Fulham Harris with Maine Health says they have plans to help patients transition smoothly.
Patients who do not have insurance do not use services as efficiently and as effectively as patients who do have good quality coverage.
Two other options exist, Harvard Pilgrim and Community Health Options, which together cover about 51,000 Mainers through the ACA.
We want to make this as simple and easy for patients as possible because it's in all of our best interests to ensure that patients have access to affordable health coverage.
Making medical bills predictably affordable for people like Ronnie to keep her health a priority.
If I don't have insurance, then that could end up taking a back seat, and I'm not ready to go yet.
Anthem will continue to sell plans off the ACA marketplace, but the Maine Bureau of Insurance encourages people who do use the marketplace to start checking with their providers, which will offer plans before open enrollment begins on November 1st to see if they have the plan that matches up with what you need. Lee and Katie?
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We go from CC, we got KO, we got KC. It's like all the initials
far
are
away here. Like,
Would you like to join us?
I think you're cut. Yeah, all right, better.
All right.
That's all right. Everything else you were doing was great, but the
Okay.
spacing, the desk spacing is just,
No, I
it's
feel
not
like I'm
right.
gonna like knock the desk over. It's okay.
Beautiful today, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of today?
Yes.
Of course, we had like 105 meetings here at News Center today. It was great because we were looking out the window at 75 and sunny. But we've got some more nice weather coming as well. Look, it's Freiburg, 80 degrees, 80 in Berlin as well, 79 officially in Bangor. That's a record for the day. We did not break the record in Portland, only getting to 74 degrees. Overnight lows will not be all that cool. We've been crisp the past few, but obviously because of where we were for highs today and where we're going tomorrow, we'll be in the 50s in a lot of spots. A place like Portland might not get any lower than 60 degrees, even in the middle of the evening. Clouds encroaching into the mountains right now. That's part of a cold front that doesn't have that much good organization with it. You can see there's a couple of decent bands here towards Quebec, to the northwest of Montreal, but a lot of these will hit the mountains and then fall apart as they go to the coastal plain. So not everyone will see showers tonight, but we've got a chance of them as the front moves through. Tomorrow actually turns out to be a good day because the front moves through tonight and we get into a classic west-northwest wind What's interesting about a west wind day in Maine is that coastal locations could be warmer tomorrow than they were today, just fighting off what would otherwise be a naturally occurring sea breeze. So tomorrow's nice, it's bright through the afternoon. Friday's a bit of a mixed day with clouds increasing in the afternoon. And then over the weekend, it's all about this front. On Saturday, we're on the cool side of the front, but there's some juicy air down here for Sunday. And eventually the front will get up here and we'll be warm sectored. We'll be back around 80 for Sunday afternoon and sticky as well. Hour by hour forecast showing you these showers and thunderstorms trying to move through tonight. But again, some of us don't get any rain out of this along the coastline in particular. By tomorrow midday, it's beautiful. It's nice through the rest of the afternoon. Friday's partly cloudy. An isolated shower could be possible in the afternoon. Most of us stay dry. And then Saturday, the front moves on through. Precipitable water, something, oh, I didn't set any pause points. Jess, why'd you let me do that? All right, well, it's too late now. I was going to talk about precipitable water, and Maine was just saved from that by my actions. Anyways, I was trying to show you that it's going to be more humid on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, like legitimately humid.
I think it's better that you didn't then.
I know. It was really not going anywhere good anyways. We could get some legitimate rain Tuesday next week, which we need. It could be tropically infused, high moisture content kind of stuff. So that would be actually a positive for the drought areas and all that.
All right.
Pause point fail.
So no fall vibes for the near future, really?
Maybe late next week.
Okay.
We could cool down.
All right. What about the scarves and the boots then?
Yeah. Exactly.
Extra basic. All right, thank you.
So basic.
For the past few months, it's felt like we've been inundated with sad story after sad story after sad story. So here's a positive one. Thanks to you, we went out and asked Mainers what their happy news is and to tell us one reason why they're smiling today.
Let's see. I found the apples I wanted.
Well, we're both social workers. I think the happy news is just seeing positive change in other people's lives that we're working with.
I would agree. And I think that it's October and we still have some great weather right now. And getting to enjoy the farmer's market today.
I just got a 95 on an exam.
That's awesome. Yes. What exam was it?
My psychology test.
I'm on vacation, touring around Portland and maybe go out to the mountains a little bit, see if there's any scenery to something pleasant.
How about being together?
Yes, being together or being at the farmer's market, I think.
My son and wife are having a baby and we're waiting, so congratulations. Yeah, I'm gonna be a Grammy.
Well, my dog got skunked this morning at 4:30. And my sister just checked on her, and she's doing well. She doesn't smell too bad.
I'm 70 years old. I've been in my apartment 25 years.
There you go.
Yes, and I'm having a wonderful time in my playground, Monument Square.
So I would imagine just asking the question, like what's making you happy, put a smile on their faces before they even had a chance to answer.
It did, and they, they had to kind of think about it for a second, and then I think that's when they realized, oh, that we can think positive, you know what I mean? So it definitely was my favorite story to shoot for in a while.
Were any of them cynical? Like, what are you trying to say? Like, what happened? Something bad happened? Tell me what happened.
No, not really, surprisingly, but no, it was great. And someone actually asked my happy news too, so that was really cool.
Well, what was your answer?
A year at News Center, actually. So yeah, and I'm with Lee.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Coming up tonight on News Center at 6 o'clock, Michaela Jordan of Cheverus will go into the varsity club, which is kind of cool because
super cool.
Her mom was also a varsity club member way back when. Watch for that story at 6. If you know a senior in high school who should be considered for the varsity club, have a coach or teacher or school administrator send an email to varsityclub@wcsh6.com or varsityclub@wlbz2.com. A new student will be featured each week, and at the end of the year, there will be a $2,500 scholarship given out to one boy and one girl in memory of Bruce Glazier, who started the varsity club way back in the 1980s. All right, let's check in with Cindy Williams, see what's coming up tonight on News Center at 5:30. Hey, Cindy.
Hi, guys. Yeah, more scrutiny for the Togus Veterans Hospital. This time a podiatrist accused of bad medicine and substandard care. We're going to speak with a vet who says he almost lost his foot because of this doctor. And some people think there is nothing a cold beer can't fix. Well, one brewery takes that mentality seriously. It claims that it has come up with a new brew that can help with the symptoms of menopause. Seriously. Those stories and more at 5:30.
All right, thanks, Cindy. News Center Now will continue after the break.
All right, Keith's here with Pictionary.
Yeah, it's
work of art.
This will make sense in a second. So this is pretty big for an area that's so big on marine interest. I watched this PBS explanation on how everything you know about how tides are created is incorrect. So the explanation from elementary to high school to college to graduate school is not right. So let's start with the classic explanation for why tides exist. The moon is involved, that is correct, and is the gravitational force towards the moon. So the idea behind the original explanation of tides is that you have all these forces, right? So at A, B, and C, these forces stronger at A, because it's closer to the moon, than it is at B, than it is at C, right? So you're getting lesser and lesser forces. So what that creates is a net vector that goes in this direction, and that stretches out the ocean, essentially. And that gives you your high tide. And that happens twice a day, and everything's right. Now, you didn't ask an important question, which is how did we get this vector in this direction? Did you think about that?
Yeah, because if everything's pulling this way,
then why did that happen?
Going that way?
Well, to get the vector, you have to subtract, because it's relative to the motion of the Earth. So you subtract this vector in the center of the Earth from this vector on this side. That means it's a negative small vector, which is a positive vector in that direction. Anyways, there's problems with this explanation, which is if there's a force here, how come it doesn't pick up objects at high tide? It should pick up anything on the Earth, including the ocean. So what's really happening here is you get two spots that you need to consider, A and the center of the Earth, and it's away from that line between the moon and the Earth. The net vector there, you take the moon to the Earth, you take the spot to the moon, that's a vector in the downward direction. So if you do that, throughout the entire Earth, the vectors look like this, which is much different than what I just showed you. What's really happening is the water is being squeezed to the spots in direct alignment with the moon. This is kind of a gross analogy, but a good one that they used. It's like a pimple. It is pushing, it together. That's why we have tides. There's not a net gravitational pull in that direction.
Who's hungry? News Center 5:30 right now.